So, yeah, hi everyone. I am Dharam Kapila. I'm based in Copenhagen. And yeah, this is a short presentation of my journey as an indie iOS developer so far. And I hope I can basically, like, the main goal is if I can inspire more people to also take this and build indie iOS apps. A bit of background about myself. I am a freelance consultant at Notesite Labs. This is just a one-person company that I have where I do freelance consulting. I'm also a senior data engineer at Moon Data, which is a small company. And more recently, like, which is my favorite part, is that I've also become an indie iOS developer. So here's a bit of background of my journey so far into Swift and into iOS development. I started learning Swift exactly a year ago in July, and I think that was mainly I went into like reading a lot of Apple documentation. I watched a lot of WWDC session videos, a lot of like just trying to assimilate everything that is out there in the web. Then in August, I started building my iOS app called Funnel. It's basically like a quick capture, note-taking task management app. But the difference with this app compared to everything else out there is that it also syncs with whatever service that you use. So whether you use like Notion or Todoist or Obsidian or like whatever app, it has like a native integration built into all these apps, and you can like use Funnel to capture anything from like events to your calendar to sketching and drawing with PencilKit to like Shazam and capturing music and sending it to Notion. And it's like capturing all kinds of content, like media content, into apps that you use. So I spent August building it. Then in September, I created a test flight group and I shared it with like 25 test flight users. And most of them I just found out by like I DM'd like a lot of people on Twitter, and many of them were really happy and they responded to me saying that we would love to test the app, which is really great. And then there was like a lot of back and forth from September to December where it was just a lot of iteration. People would give me feedback on what is working, what is not working. uh, Often people said like things like, I was a bit stupid, but it took me a few seconds to realize how to do this. So then when someone said like they are a bit stupid because it took them seconds, then I knew that like I need to fix something on my app so it's not an issue for anyone when I launch it publicly. So there was a lot of back and forth, which really helped me during that time. In December, I launched the app, and it was really great. Like there was 170,000 engagements like within the first few days. There's 5,000 downloads in the first week, and like hundreds of people subscribed to it like right in the first week, I would say. So I was really lucky, and it was like there was no crash, there was no issues, there was no bugs, thanks to all the test flight users. And by the way, I still have that test flight users group and it's expanded a bit more and they're still giving me feedback even today. So I'm really lucky about that. And then for the last few months, I've just been working on updating the app, like as I keep learning Swift, app intents and widgets and more features and PencilKit and Shazam. I try to keep learning new frameworks and then I keep integrating them into my app as well. And people also, I've been getting a lot of feedback. So there is also just a lot of user requests at this point, and it's been great to understand better from my users what what are their specific needs, what apps do they want to be have a better integration with, and continue to work on it. These are some of my notes when I was learning Swift. So I just want to say, like this whole month of July, all of my 100% of my learning was like handwritten or on my iPad, and I only installed Xcode actually in August when I wanted to build my app. So until I felt comfortable with Swift and Swift UI, I had actually just done everything on paper and pencil, and it worked really well for me. Uh, this is, yeah, just as I mentioned, it's an app called Funnel. It allows you to send your ideas, anything to your favorite apps and services very easily. And it has shortcuts and widgets and a lot of things built in. This is just a couple of screenshots on the ideation process. And again, uh, just some screenshots of me talking to users where I would be like, would it be worthwhile to have this feature or to do this? And people would be like, probably. And I think it would appeal to most users. And someone would be like, I think that this is going to be challenging for you. And by the way, I don't know any of these. I mean, there are people I've never met, but just people I randomly hit upon on Twitter or Discord. So I don't know personally any of these people. But it was really great. People would say what they want to try out, what would work, what pricing would be good. On Twitter as well, people would just be like, that this is like, I love trying new apps and it sounds right up my alley. Like people would, I would often ask people like, what apps are they using to understand better what I should do and what I should not, and people would just respond like everyone. And I was really, I think it's really great. Like it's also nice to put it publicly, like as a tweet that please join my test flight group. But I think just contacting individual people, like personalizing your messages to them, and just that like it makes it more likely that they're going to test your app and they're going to give you actual feedback than just a public group. So that was really great. Uh, just some other tips, like before I launched my app, like I'm not affiliated to any of these tools, but I'm just mainly a programmer. So these tools really helped me. Like when for the App Store screenshots, I use something called Screenshots Pro, and I use Bentocraft to build my screenshots. For the promo videos that I built earlier, and I still do, I use something called Rotato, and I use something called Screen Studio. And I think they're like two of my favorite apps, like not just for video editing, but in general. I have rarely seen apps as well executed as these two apps. So I think everyone should check them out for my app website, and including this presentation, by the way, I'm doing using Craft Docs. So whenever I want to build like simple web pages or share them online, static web pages, I use something called Craft. Whenever I want to do presentations like these, I'm also using Craft, and I'm also using it for other purposes. So it's a really nice tool as well. For my app icons and like a lot of design work, I was using Midjourney and ChatGPT. Again, great tools. Like, and there's a lot of help online if you are not sure, like on Midjourney or whatever, or even ChatGPT, like how to frame your prompt in a way that it gives you good design, it gives you good quality material, like whatever images you want in your apps, or screenshots or anything. So highly recommend everyone to try out and use these tools, even though I have no affiliation to any of them. I just liked all of them. And yeah, it's just I've been really grateful. Like it's been well received. Like people seem to love it. There's been a few articles that were posted as well. That was really nice on Medium, and it's nice that there are some people who are like reviewing it out and uh, reading about it. So that, and of course, I'm also getting a lot of emails daily from users on what they want, what they don't want, and what they like, what they don't like. So it's also something that is a nice motivation to go to continue to work on it. Um, Quick rundown, like on the technology, it's 95% Swift UI. I have never really worked with UIKit, so I didn't know much, but there was still a couple of things here and there that I needed to do UIKit for. I've used Swift Data, all the new technologies that I could start with, like StoreKit 2. I have a backend server which is hosted on Heroku, which I'm using for a few purposes that my app needs as well. So because I'm familiar with Python, and that's what I use as my main job. So it was hosted on the backend is a fast API server on Python. And yeah, just a few tips, like Swift Data, like a lot of people still think it's not good enough. And maybe that's true, but I think you should see like what is the purpose of your app, what kind of queries you want to do, like is it dynamic queries or not? And I think for many, like a amount of cases, Swift Data and CloudKit is really great to use today, and it's like pretty ready. And there was like a couple of bugs that I even had with migration. And when I was at Apple Park, like those guys were like this 2 months ago, they were really friendly, and they told me that this one migration issue that I had was going to be fixed, and it's fixed as well now. So I was really happy about that. I'm also using Xcode Cloud Builds. I think if anyone hasn't used that, highly recommend everyone to use it. It really makes my life easier whenever I do like a Git push to the main branch. It auto deploys and it pushes it out to all my test flight users. and it also picks the notes for like what needs to be updated from what to text this file. So I don't ever have to go to App Store Connect or for these cases. And it's like, you know, from deploying, from coding to deploying, and and having my test flight users use the app, I don't need to leave Xcode for that, which is really great. And it also runs like all my unit tests and everything, and it's free to use. So I recommend everyone to use Cloud Builds. Also, just want to mention like iOS 17 especially has so many like nice, delightful features that people should use in their apps, I think, like symbol animations and content transitions, and there's improvements to the haptic engine, and there's like also improvements to the Shazam kit, and there's a lot of small improvements that Apple made in iOS 17. These APIs everywhere, which add uh, like several delightful animations to your app all across, and I think there are so many, and it's nice to use them. People notice it and people like it, and they respond to the app. Observables also, this is yeah, just it's really great. And finally, a few lessons that I have had so far. I would say that building an indie iOS app has been a fantastic opportunity for me to learn, because right from me, like every feature I build in the app, right from the start, has been a way for me to learn Swift and Swift UI, even up till now, and I've really enjoyed that process at every stage. And besides that, I would also recommend you to share your progress and get feedback early. And yeah, I couldn't underestimate like all the good reviews or anything. It is mainly just happening because of test flight users who tell me like when there's a crash, or who tell me when something is not as well designed, and they come back to me, and that's super nice to like I recommend everyone to not wait till the end, or even like just the simplest prototype you have, like share it out and have a test flight group ready to use it. And people use it. And test flight group people also like they don't mind when your app crashes, or they're not gonna leave a bad review. So it's even better. Also, I got to learn a lot more from design and marketing and customer support. So I think that's really great as you build your own apps. For example, there are emails that I look like from 6 months ago where people were asking me certain questions. And when I every single time respond to people on why a decision was made in a way, my writing about that and my thought process gets more clear every single time. So if that question comes today from an email about like, why is this feature working in a way, like I can write it so elegantly, properly, because I have responded to like 50 previous emails from users who asked something similar. And every single time, like my ability to respond to people and explain to them how something works in the app or why something is the way it is, I feel like that has improved a lot in the last 6 to 8 months. Also recommend everyone to use AI tools. And I also had this point saying that you should test different approaches to marketing and pricing. But at the same time, like this is less important because you can always change it. If the pricing doesn't work, like you can change it. If the marketing doesn't work, that is also changeable. So this is like in a way the least important point. It should not prevent you from releasing your indie app if you think the pricing is not perfect or the marketing is not perfect. So yeah, I think that was like my main lessons. I just want to really encourage everyone. I think every single person has something that is unique, like they have a unique curiosity of a problem that they want to solve. Their brain works, and like our brains all work in a different way. So even if you think that there are maybe 50 to-do list apps in the App Store, and but like how your brain works on solving a task is most likely at some level unique compared to other people. There is something unique about you, and you can still build the 51st app. There is nothing stopping you. And if it solves your problem, that already gives you some level of satisfaction, but most likely it could also solve other people's problems. So I don't think that should even stop you from like the fear of being Sherlocked or the fear of like other apps, because you can have your own perspective still in what you build. as long as you're, of course, putting yourself out and your uniqueness instead of like just copying something, which you shouldn't do. Yeah, and also just the people who already have indie apps and like YouTube videos where they teach Swift and blogs. I also want to thank you, everyone, because I only got inspired by your work to do this. And when I see other people building indie apps or whatever, that is pretty much what inspired me to build as well. So just thank you to everyone. And like Daniela for the previous presentation, it also gave me a lot of great ideas on localizing my app. So just want to say that. And yeah, if you have any questions, I have like the QR code. You can use Funnel, get a yearly plan for free. Just a small thank you to this community because we're all doing really awesome stuff and sharing knowledge and sharing things with each other. So I'd love for you to try out the app. And if you have any feedback or if it helps you, that is great. Um, Also, if you have any apps that you would like me to try or test flight, I would also love to do that. You can find me on Threads, Mastodon, X, whatever you call it. It's Dharam Kapila.